Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the village board meeting, 7:00, 7:15, Monday, June 10th, 2024. We have a roll call of officers.
Pete Anzia, Roseanne Guy, Sarah Meisler, Chris Clear, Rose Sowers, Kevin Schuler, and Dan Moore.
Open meeting law compliance check.
We are in compliance.
We all please stand for a pledge of allegiance on a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Public input. Anyone have anything for public input?
All I have is just that, just since I sent that back though, we got some pictures of our new rescue squad, so if anyone wants to see them,
Oh,
you can see me after the meeting. Yeah,
oh, we have to wait till after?
well, I guess I can.
I'm just kidding, I'm kidding.
Okay. I think I went back, so. So I'll take a look past me. Like, just get a look back at the. So it should be here probably, I'm hoping in the next month or so, they did delay. Production in the line at the facility for a little bit, but. I'm hoping by middle of July or so we have it, so.
When did they tell you it was gonna be in? Did they give you a time?
I've been given a firm date.
Oh. That's nice. Well, then you can never be disappointed, I
We always
guess.
sell it on Wisconsin.
What year is that?
The 2000.
Also, for a little heads up, June 24th, they're gonna chip seal Main Street. So just don't do any parking on that Tuesday on the street
Or drive on it.
or Monday. Rain date will be Tuesday. But should be open, should only take an hour or so, right? For 2 hours, I'll do it.
Pretty.
So by noon, you should be done, right?
The drive on the first.
Yeah. I know.
Can't drive on?
We'll come and clean it up in a week.
You can drive
You can drive on it.
on it for a week.
No, you can drive on it, but it's be dusty,
You sweep it in between there? Okay.
unless we kick it back to road tracks, but we'll come and sweep it and clean it up for the July week.
So just a little heads up there. Any other public input? See anyone here for Chamber of Commerce? Okay, then we'll go to the village marshal report.
Okay, for me, I registered 2 golf carts. And then there were three dumpster violations. All the items were, I contacted people, all the items were picked up and removed. And I also had 1 dog at large complaint. And that is a pretty quiet month.
Just out of curiosity, what were the violation items?
Well, one was a fluorescent light fixture, one was a TV and a VCR. And I forget what the other one was.
Who owns a VCR?
Hey, I don't.
That's why I was on the dump. That's why I went in.
You had to shop it.
There's certain things that aren't allowed in there.
I understand that lady on elevator lane that's feeding cats again.
Yes.
I went past there this morning and I seen 2 cats out there, so I stopped them when I was there and I dumped the bowl upside down again, so. But I
Oh,
tried to contact her and she wouldn't answer her door.
she knows. She knows what she's doing.
It's not you guys from the camp, is it?
No.
Oh, really?
Okay, anything else for Marshall? Okay, if nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to approve 8A to 8E.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Anybody want to discuss any of that in between? If not, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Move on to new business. Discussion of lakeside food orders.
Odors.
We have plenty of orders.
That's a good thing. But, how are we doing on that situation?
I think it's pretty good.
I haven't smelled it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard. You're usually getting phone calls, you know, and I return phone calls. I get a couple emails once in a while, but this year, for some reason, I think with the not as harsh winter,
Yeah,
it didn't freeze, our lagoon didn't freeze. And the rain also kicks up a lot of the sludge. And what we've done is we've made I guess you could say we looked at the aeration system that we have. We've had some failures on the aerators. And it's been taking us a little bit longer to get parts, pieces, because those are old. I mean, they're almost outdated, and we're looking at a new situation, a new system. I'm gonna go to the, capital, corporate to get some capital, get some new aerators. We do have a lot of sludge at the bottom. Once that starts getting churned up, that's where you get the odor.
Question,
Yeah.
just in case, members of the public ask us, would you have any estimation about how long it would take for you to put new aerators in place? I know you have to get corporate approval for the funding, but.
It just depends on what kind. Right now, we have surface aerators. They're not as efficient. What happens is it pushes the water down, pushes up. It's supposed to churn up the sludge, but it's not getting to the bottom. When it's getting to the bottom is when the level of the lagoon system is down lower. So we've taken measurements of where the most sludge is, in different areas. So we started analyzing that. But as far as how long it takes to do what you're asking, it just depends on if the company has the aerators that we're looking at.
And do you expect any pushback from corporate? Because again, that's an expenditure, so.
all the time.
To give you a rough idea, if we replace them with like kind right now, it would be just for the equipment, and I have no idea what lead times are. It's about $125,000 to $150,000. And like Paul said, there's newer, better systems out there, and that's what we're looking into. We want to try to just do this once and
Right.
find a better system that will work better and it's more reliable.
Right.
And as
Thank
far
you,
as far as any compliance or regulatory, is everything in place there?
Yeah, we work with the DNR. We just had our permit renewed. I'm in contact with the DNR all the time. Got a really good relationship with them. And as far as, you talk about pushback from corporate, I get pushback all the time from
Right.
corporate in a sense. But I also have been pretty successful in selling whatever the plant needs. And I don't foresee any problem with upgrading our system here for the lagoons.
But you're right, you want to do it one time.
Yeah.
You want to do it right and you want to do it.
Yeah,
once.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Nate's my operations manager, and he can tell you from the first day that I got there, that I'm big on number one, having the vision, number two, doing it right.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's a good palliative statement to give members of the public, is that you want to do it right when you do it, so.
And you guys, those of you that 2-3 years ago when I first came here, I told you what was gonna happen, what was gonna do. That does take some time.
Yeah.
But here we are, we're back at square one in a sense. But the odor this year compared to 3 years ago, not even close.
Right,
In my opinion.
So the old aerators, you're saying, ones you have now, work from the top down.
Yeah, they're surface aerated.
What are the ones you, if you could get
From
them?
the bottom.
Okay,
So,
Local diffusers?
Yeah, that's basically what.
What's that do? We're just mixing it up.
It mixes it up, but it also allows the oxygen to get to the bacteria and let the bacteria eat the sponge.
so right now, basically imagine what we have is like a bull prop. It mixes up the top, it injects some air into the first couple of feet. Lagoon, what happens is, the part that really smells is the anaerobic layer, which is down on the bottom where it settles. If that gets stirred up, then the microbes start eating it, but that also releases also all the gases that are in it. These new systems are the fine dissolved bubble. Will, in all honesty, probably make it worse in the short term, but it'll keep that anaerobic layer from becoming anaerobic. And keep it all oxygen. The fine dissolved bubble is one of the systems we're looking at. And that transfers a lot more oxygen into the water columns for less energy, and it's much more, I can't think of the word, but it's much more efficient at transferring dissolved air into the water.
And what's the kind of time span from when it's you first install it, first starts working? You said, and it makes total sense to me, that it's gonna smell worse while it's curing the situation. How long do you anticipate that stage to last?
Rough guess, if I, in an ideal world, knowing our corporate process, if I can get approval for that system and we can get that in this fall, ideally, I would like to turn it on as soon as the lagoon is defrosted.
Well, basically, I'm asking because again, I know members of the public are gonna ask, how long is the worst sting gonna
No,
be?
I guess, so I guess there's two parts to that. One, I would like to do it over the winter when nobody, or early spring when nobody's trying to open their windows when it's 30, 40 degrees. outside.
Right.
I don't really have an answer for that. This is a little bit of uncharted territory,
Gotcha.
but I don't expect it to take, more than I'd hate to.
Couple days.
I'd say any longer than spring turnover when we start back up anyways.
right.
Would you consider running the aerators all year long?
We run the aerators as long as we can until it
Oh,
either.
with fine bubble refusing, you could do it.
Yes,
I think we could run it much longer, yes.
because it's down, it'll be down.
It's down below the bottom, below the freeze line.
Yeah.
They work very well.
Yeah, the biggest challenge with that is we're gonna have to excavate the side of the bank and bury the airlines in. As long as we bury the airlines in from the compressor under the ground, he's right, we should be able to run it year round and then it keeps the lagoon open.
Say this last winter, it didn't freeze, you couldn't have pumped that out,
You mean pump the water out?
or, yeah, pumped it out to 6 Mile Road.
No.
Empty, it, you got rid of it.
Our permit only goes from April 1st through November 30. And we can't do any spray. Irrigation.
That makes sense.
Paul, being that you work with wastewater, do you have any thoughts as,
I like the idea of fine bubble infusing.
okay?
We have it at the treatment plant.
Mhm.
And they wanna see it, I got some different areas, but it might not be nearly what their application. I think you're gonna use a lot less energy too in the long run.
Yeah, when we're at full tilt on the aerators, we had 10. And those are like 20, 30 horsepower motors, which is, it's an energy killer. And that's costs us a lot of money to run those.
Do you have a plan for the rest of summer?
Just keep getting the aerators fixed and
How much is your sludge blanket?
It varies depending on what part of the lagoon it is. We did a sludge judge this April. And it varies anywhere from a half of a foot to 3.5 feet.
And it's like a 12 foot lagoon. So,
Any thoughts on taking the sludge out?
yeah, we are, but this is why we've taken the sludge measurements.
What you're gonna do, find about the diffusing, you're gonna have to take the sludge out.
So. And one of the things too, what we haven't done is used our East Lagoon. I mean, we pumped a little bit in this last year, in the winter time, just to take some of the pressure off of our 8 million gallon. But the problem with that, there's no aeration there and we don't like to use that. You know, when I first came, it was full and that was a lot of our problem is the odor was coming from that east.
Right.
So we drained it in the last couple of years. It's been clean.
Mhm.
And we just pumped some in over was it the spring this year to kill the weeds.
Mhm.
You know, that was growing.
You have all your aerators operating right now?
Not all of them. We, like I said, we're still in
Waiting.
the process of waiting for parts to come in. But we do have the side aerator. It's just taking some time.
So in terms of corporate approval for new equipment, logistics, whatever, is there anything the board can do to help
Really.
pressure that?
Who do we need to call?
I don't think so, but always welcome to call.
Right.
So when residents do complain, who do we have them contact? When residents complain to us about the smell,
Me,
okay,
Perfect.
yeah, like I say.
your number may be out there all over Facebook now, but.
I mean, I've talked to Pete, and, you know, and
Yeah.
Tried tracking them down several times this
Yeah.
winter.
I mean, you know, I've talked to some people in, you know, in the village. They have my phone number, they have my email. And,
Good.
I respond back. You know, sometimes it may not be what they want to hear, but it is what it is.
Right,
I mean, I can't give a time on when I'm gonna shut the smell off. I
right.
wish I did, and I wouldn't be working here because I could be doing.
Right.
You know, but, that's one of those things you have to let nature and biology take its course.
Right.
And I apologize for when these things happen, but, you know.
Well, I completely concur with you that the smell is nowhere as bad as it was a few years ago, so you're obviously taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
And there's one of our other GMs lives here in Belgium. And she, I asked her today, you know, how's it been over the weekends, you know, and she said it's been pretty good. Saturday night was bad. Because I had a party in the park on Saturday, it was pretty bad Saturday night. As soon as nighttime hit, she lives on that side, so.
Why does it always get worse at night?
And we can,
No idea.
It's seriously like anywhere from 6 to 8 PM. It seems like that's when it kicks in.
The only thing I can think of is the weather. If the wind dies down or if the wind changes.
Or the temperature. Yeah, that's so weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we.
I mean, I think that over the last few years, you know, residents have come to understand that, you know,
At some
it'll
point,
be a few days in the spring.
Yeah,
This year was excessive
Oh, it
and
was,
it
yeah.
had people riled up, but I for one appreciate you guys coming here. and
Yeah,
explaining.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Pete knows, I don't shy away from it.
Yeah.
Did 4 years ago when I first came here. Well, again, you know.
that's great. Thanks for coming in.
Anybody got anything else for them?
Like I say, email me. Call the office after for me. My extension's 4310, so.
All right, perfect.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you.
We'll move on to 10B. I would like to introduce resolution 02-24 compliance and maintenance annual report. No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Resolved that the Village of Belleville, Ozaukee County, Wisconsin informs the Department of Natural Resources that the following actions were taken by the village board. Reviewed the 2023 compliance maintenance annual report, which is attached to this resolution. Set forth the following actions necessary to maintain the fluid requirements contacted into the WPDES permit. Continue information on inflow reduction program. Continuing training and education of employees involved in the running of the wastewater treatment plant. Continue to clean and inspect additional 10% of sewers and manholes by the end of 2024.
This is kind of a routine thing we have to do every year in order to submit a report. Which follows them.
So we just make a motion to approve it. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 02-24 compliance and maintenance annual report.
Second.
Motions are made and seconded. Any other? Anything else on that? Okay, motions are made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. And C. Discussion of possible levy limit increase referendum for the joint EMS program.
What?
So, last month, there was an EMS committee meeting. I don't know if Rose or Chris want to comment on that, but the long and short of it is they, have come up with an estimate of what it's gonna cost in 2026
Okay,
if we, build up to the staffing level that the committee is recommending at this point, which would be 3 full-time paramedics and 3 part-time paramedics. At that point, right now, the grant is only paying for, the wages and benefits for the paramedics, the grant that they're using for these first 3 years. But starting in 2026, we will no longer be paying for ambulance. So at that point, all of the associated ambulance costs will be part of the program also. So they have come up with, and these are very preliminary numbers, an estimate of what it might be in 2026. They have increased their billing costs. And so they've they've only had them for 3 months or so. So the estimate for revenues is very, very preliminary also. But using those numbers, the net estimate for the full budget in 2026 would be about $486,000. Based on the agreement that we have, the breakdown of that by community, and these are using numbers for 2023. But we would be looking at about $139,000 added to our budget. That right now is, our levy this past year was around $800,000. So that is a huge, huge increase or part of our levy. For us to absorb that into our levy, we would be looking at probably either postponing a lot of street and road projects or using loans to pay for them. So what the committee is looking at right now is for any of the communities that want to, they're looking to possibly go out for referendum as early as November. If we do it jointly, we can save on some of the advertising costs and we can have more of a presence in the community as far as talking it up. Now, the reason for pushing for November is twofold. Number one, November or the presidential elections are traditionally the most likely to pass on a resolution. Because voter turnout is very strong.
Correct.
Second of all, if it fails, we can have an opportunity to go back again the following April. Because regardless of whether we get a referendum to pass come 2026, we're gonna be on the hook for whatever amount the budget, Now, the board has some control over that because we have to approve any increase over 5%. So,
certainly we could deny budget increases over 5%, which would limit it, but then the program isn't going to be meeting 24-hour coverage either. So, you know, it's really becomes an issue of what do you guys want out of this program? So at this point, what the committee is gonna be discussing at the next meeting is they just wanted to get a feel for which communities might be
Ready to do that.
amenable to going out for referendum. I would highly recommend that you guys consider it, because like I said, this would be, I mean, it would be a huge impact to our budget.
Yeah.
I did do some number crunching, and this is again, it's an estimate, it's based on, you know, old number, 2023 numbers and stuff, but my guess would be if we were to ask for an increase, for example, of 140,000, this would be a permanent increase to our levy, so it would continue year after year. It would increase the taxes about 45 cents per thousand of home value. So I kind of have a breakdown there of what that would amount to based on different values, 200 through 400,000 breakdown. So, there's no action that needs to be taken, but the committee would like each of the community reps to come back and give them an idea of whether we are in or not in on going in for a referendum, and then they will be making recommendations, which will then be up for, you know, if the committee recommends it, then there would probably be a resolution on next month's agenda for referendum, so.
So we don't have to do anything now.
No, it's just,
Just to
like I said,
put a
they
little
just
bit
want to
bug in our
get
ear.
a feeling, so, you know, I think Chris and Rose would like to know what you guys think, because they have to go back and represent the bill.
Right.
How did these breakdown numbers get figured?
So there's a formula in the agreement that we have that is based on 3 different, it's a complicated formula. I created a spreadsheet that calculates it, so all we have to do is plug in some numbers like our call volume every year and our equalized values and the budget, and it tells us how much each community owes.
And again, these are rough estimates on these numbers, but it's important to remember though, if we're doing this, it's the goal 24/7 all in.
Right. And I think that's a great,
This was the whole committee was designed for, was for 24/7 coverage.
And Fredonia is going to be working very hard to get together some data points that we can use to sell the program, you know, this
Yep.
referendum as far as the benefits that we're seeing from this program. You know, I think that call times, we've already got some estimates based on the maintenance of effort report we have to do that shows call times have definitely improved as a result, so.
I mean, I think this is what we decided, you know, this is what we were doing it for. So, I mean, to be not part of the referendum for November there was no point
The
in
call
that.
volumes aren't gonna go down.
No,
They're
they're only gonna go up. But I mean, this was the whole point of this. So I think to not be on the referendum would be,
So
that would
this is,
be,
and this is
not
not
productive.
necessarily part of the referendum discussion, but one of the issues that Fredonia raised at this last meeting, that they also are going to be discussing at the next meeting more is, if the committee has recommended that we move forward with the hiring schedule that they're proposing. If we do that, right now, we're gonna be exceeding the money that the grant is providing. So Fredonia wants us to, all of us, all 4 communities, to agree to split any over grant funding for these first 3 years, even though our agreement said not. So just to give you a heads up, there may be something in next month's agenda regarding that.
okay.
You know, I don't think it'll be a huge amount of money that we're talking, because I think they're looking at maybe a max of 150,000 for the full 3 years, and that would be split between the communities, so it wouldn't be a huge amount of money. But just so you know that right now, if we proceed, and my guess is if Fredonia doesn't get this agreement, they're not gonna continue hiring and they're gonna reduce staffing because they're not gonna cover all of that themselves.
Right, right.
So.
Well, I think the board knows how Dan and Chris and I are gonna lean, and we've heard Rosie. How about you two? Do you have any comments, concerns?
there's not a whole lot of choice.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something that we have to deal with.
What happens, we'll still have our own rescue in Belgium, right?
Correct, so, so
This
for
is just the
example,
paramedics.
Yes, just the paramedics.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Level
and-
1 and 2 calls.
and it is the
Okay.
ambulance stuff also, but for example, they have in here, some medical supplies. But Fredonia generally reimburses
Sure, yeah.
Belgium's medical supplies. So if our rescue squad goes on a call and they come, their ambulance comes, if we use blood sugar kits or other things, they give us that equipment back. So
Right.
they are in fact carrying all the medical equipment costs for anybody who's using their.
I wouldn't say all,
Hmm, maybe not all, but
because we still have on our fire budget a line for much EMS supplies.
correct.
So not
And-
all.
No, correct, but a lot, and those, you know, our rescue squad, they have their own rescue squad in Fredonia also that goes out to calls in their area. So it's not taking away our rescue squad. This is just for the paramedic intercept and the transport, which we have been paying them every year for transport services.
right.
Right now, and that is all going to be then merged into one
So
program.
would they do all our transport, but we wouldn't have port anymore?
That is, we have only, I believe, ever had. Do we have Fort Pat?
Port trans-
Not in the village, only.
Oh, that's the
So,
show. Never mind.
the only,
That's right.
the only time we ever get Fort is if,
That's right, that's in the.
if Fredonia is not available.
Right.
And we do pay them the same rate for ambulance that we take for Fredonia.
And on that number system for care, paramedics only come out 3 and lower,
1, 2, or 3.
1, 2, or 3. Otherwise, paramedic stays in the station.
If they have a paramedic on, they'll still come. 4 or 5.
They just, the paramedic comes direct for the high, the higher level
Right now,
calls. Whereas if it's a 4 or 5, he comes with the ambulance.
right.
He doesn't come separate, right? Is that correct, Kathy?
So
Right.
even though we're not asking for an action right now, because there's more to come from the EMS committee, the sense I'm getting is that we're on board.
Yes.
Basically. Okay.
That's what I feel.
Sure we don't.
I'm on board.
She's got estimates in the bottom of that sheet.
Yep.
Why are they pricing EMTs or not price? Why are they on here?
Apparently they have to have AEMTs in order to operate transport. It's by state, the levels of,
They're advanced.
yeah,
I didn't.
so that's part of the ambulance
Okay.
cost. So, and again, right now, the grant is not paying for any of that. The grant is only looking for the paramedic part, but our additional ambulance fees are going toward that right now. And they also, of course, we only pay a portion of what they don't collect from their ambulance fees.
Right.
So revenues would be used to offset expenditures.
Okay.
All right. Make any more discussion on that? If not, we'll move on to 10D. Approve ordinance 04-24, repeal and recreate chapter 143 floodplain zoning ordinance for Village of Belgium.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 04-24.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
You get the next one.
I would like to introduce resolution number 03-24, resolution establishing grass and weed cutting charge. Whereas of the code of the Village of Belgium provides that the rate at which the village charges property owners for cutting grass and weeds to abate a nuisance shall be established by resolution of the village board. And whereas the village board previously set said rate by resolution number 19-08. And whereas the village board has determined that that said rate should be increased. Now therefore, be it resolved by the village board of the Village of Belgium that the rate at which the Village of Belgium charges property owners for cutting grass and weeds to abate a nuisance shall be $300 per hour. Introduced and adopted this tenth day of June, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the 03-24 establishing grass and weed cutting charge.
Second.
Okay, motions are made and seconded. As of now, the DPW charges $175.
That was gonna be my question, actually.
That's $175 for the first hour. Or initially $175 and $175 after that.
75 an hour, but 1 hour.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, with the 1 hour minimum.
And we,
This one's gonna be the same thing, 1 hour minimum,
This is the exact wording of the resolution that is in effect now.
except for the number change. Got it.
and at
Perfect.
this point, we do have one person that relies on the village to cut their weeds now.
That's nice.
And there's a possibly second one.
Say, how many properties do you say you guys cut a year?
Brian, he's the weed commissioner, he goes around.
Just one at this point. The second one is on it.
Let's get a warning.
Yes. You got a warning last year.
They get a letter, and they have a week to cut.
We got a letter last year because Patricia tried to do no mow May. It didn't go well. She did. Well, I made her call the guy. I was like, call the guy. She's like, yeah, I'm on it. It's like, we can't do no mow May.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Motion for me, second it. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion passes. 10F, approve amendment to the comprehensive plan for 2023.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to comprehensive plan for 2023.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion passes. 10G, approve park and recreation recommendation regarding donation of basketball hoop for Heritage Park.
So you have a sheet that shows a type out of what the approved recommendations were. These all happened right before this meeting, so it's not typed out anywhere. So if you want to see the recommendations, it's on this sheet. So 10G, the recommendation was to accept the donation of the basketball hoop for Heritage Park. DPW will help with digging and will paint the courts. Did you have to be there?
Where exactly?
Everybody, it's that one right there.
Right there, Dan. All right, I'll make a motion to approve. Did you have questions? Okay, approve park and recreation recommendation regarding donation of basketball hoop for Heritage Park.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion passes.
Keep it.
10H. Approve park and recreation recommendation regarding sponsorship levels for tennis and pickleball courts.
The recommendation that was made is that we solicit sponsors for the pickleball and tennis courts with the sponsor logo being installed on the court surface. With the new surface that they're putting in, logos can be installed. Yes, Chris has a
Pretty cool.
flyer there. And they are recommending $25,000 for the tennis court and $10,000 for each pickleball court for a total of 4. You know, these will be on permanently for as long as the courts are there. So I think it's a pretty good deal if people want to get their advertising.
Danny, is it gonna cost more if like one of the ones that have the logo on it need to be replaced? Or do you,
Down the road.
yeah. I mean, is it gonna, I feel like it,
Well, I think they would have to,
I'm sure it would cost a little bit more, but
so you have the sports that right here?
yeah, he's got the, right
I
there.
don't know, the actual
Yeah.
sports all plastic.
No, I don't have that.
Oh.
There's any plastic things come in like a foot square, you can replace that.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
You probably don't want to play with bare feet though,
They're big selling pitches, once they paint it, it doesn't come off, so I would keep.
Oh, all right.
but that's a one-time
All right.
deal, right?
Yeah,
Correct, so I'm assuming you're saying if like a business would go out of business.
no, yeah, I suppose we could get somebody else to do it, right? Would we be able to take the sections out and be like, okay, if you want this, we're gonna leave it, otherwise you give us another 10 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there was a year, is there a year limit on that?
No, it's gonna be there till you
I think that did you say, is there a warranty on that painting, Dan? Or, I mean, in the paperwork, it says something about like they've tested it for 10 years and it doesn't fade or something.
Yeah, I don't think you mentioned a warranty. I don't think you mentioned, I
Okay.
think it's still like.
But it should be for a long time. Perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve Park and Recreation recommendation regarding sponsorship levels for the tennis and pickleball courts.
I'll second.
Motions are made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10I, approve finance and personnel recommendation regarding updated credit card policy.
So as a part of the financing and purchasing policy, basically the recommendation of finance and personnel is to remove the line which says credit card purchases shall not exceed $1,000 per month per card without written approval from the village president from the Village of Belgium Finance and Purchasing Policy. So you do have a copy of the policy and the line that we're removing.
Yeah.
You approve the recommendation.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of finance and personnel to remove the line credit card purchases shall not exceed 1,000 per month per card.
Motions are made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10J, approve finance and personnel recommendation regarding advertisement of Main Street rental.
I'll make a motion to,
Oh, what is-
Wait, what is this for?
So
That's-
we haven't had any success in getting a lease for the lower property.
Oh, the lower one. Okay, I thought that was, I'm sorry.
So
Got it, the office space. Got it.
finance and personnel is recommending that we advertise for 1 month on social media, and after 1 month, if they're still available, that we would place an ad.
Okay, got it.
We thought we had somebody, but it's not moving, so we have to do something.
Yeah,
so I will now recommend that we, I move that we recommend that we advertise the Main Street rental for 1 month on social media, and after 1 month, place an ad in the Ozaki Press.
I'll second it.
Motions are made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10K, approve finance and personnel recommendation regarding policy for approval of auction purchases.
Wait,
The policy that is being recommended is in your papers that you got today. And the motion or the recommendation is to approve the policy that they listed there.
my question is, so if it's over $5,000, do you just call Pete? And say, hey, it's 8,000, can we put a bid on it?
Well, I would put Danny.
Right, but Danny would, but like, is it just like, it doesn't have to go through the whole board, does it? Like, it can just go through Pete can make that decision?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
what my
it's-
question
That's the
was.
point of creating a policy.
Yeah,
Because,
Okay,
you know, so that we don't miss out on opportunities.
Right.
Because.
It's gotta go
doesn't come
through in
up
front of the
when it's
board.
available
Yeah.
for board meeting.
especially auction things. Okay, that was my question. Well, I will make a motion to approve the finance and personnel recommendation regarding policy for approval of auction purchases as long as Pete is nice about it.
I'll second as long as Pete is, I'll second that.
Motions are made and seconded. Anybody else want to throw something in there?
It's been too long of a meeting. I had to throw
All in
something. in
favor,
there.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.